One of our favorite things about spring is that it never arrives all at once. One day, the gardens still look asleep, and the next, there are tiny signs of life everywhere. The garlic starts poking through the soil, the orchard begins to bloom, and the greenhouse starts filling up with seedlings again. This is usually the time of year when we start making plans for the season ahead. We tell ourselves we'll keep things simple, focus on a few projects, and stay organized. Somehow, that never seems to happen. A few seed catalogs show up, more seeds get started than we originally planned, and despite Mike's yearly warnings, we somehow always seem to run out of room. Ahem. And this year, Mike and the kids surprised me with bees for my birthday, so that, of course, added another project to the list. Before long, every garden bed needed attention, every seedling needed planting, and every child suddenly wanted to help, which usually meant one person planting and 4 people supervising. Over the next few weeks, we planted gardens, built a bee garden, moved compost, filled raised beds, and tried to get everything ready for the growing season ahead. So this is how we spent our spring, bringing the homestead back to life. One of the first things to turn green around here each spring is our garlic. We planted it back in the fall, covered it with these panels so the chickens wouldn't scratch everything up, and then basically left it to fend for itself all winter. There's always a little excitement when we uncover it because after the months of snow and freezing temperatures, you never really know what you're going to find. Thankfully, it looked like it was off to a good start. Then it was time to uncover the strawberries. We protect them with straw every fall and then spend the entire winter hoping they'll come back bigger and better the next year. Thankfully, they seem to do just fine. It always looks a little rough at first, but a few weeks later, they really start to wake up. One of the first beds we worked on was our brassica garden, where we'll be growing broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage this year. Last year, weeds were a constant battle, so we're using the landscape fabric again because we've learned we'd rather spend our time growing food than battling weeds all summer long. Mike burned holes in the fabric for each plant. We'd actually reuse the same piece every year, and we just keep adding onto it whenever we decide that we need more garden space, which apparently happens every year. Once it was all ready, it was finally time to start planting. And like most things around here, one child helping usually turns into all of the children helping, and I had about 10 minutes to get everything in the ground before I had to change a diaper or get somebody a snack. However, not everything got off to a magical start.
A bit of a learning curve this week. I left all of my brassicas, like my cauliflower, my broccoli, in the greenhouse. And the greenhouse was about 30 degrees Celsius every single day for like a week straight. And I just thought they'd be fine. Anyways, they weren't. And they started to button. So they formed little tiny heads on these little tiny plants. And now they are chicken food. All that time wasted, but that's okay. Just went to the store and bought some broccoli and cauliflower. And I swear I was gonna do it this year because last year my plants worked out just fine. That's just how it goes in the gardening world, I guess.
I put a worm in my mouth.
You put a worm in your mouth?
I spat it. It was put in a pipe, sucked it in, and it went in my mouth and spat it out.
So this is our mini orchard. We are eventually gonna keep expanding it, but this is what we planted last year. We have 2 apple, 2 pear, a plum, and a peach tree. So we don't know a whole lot about pruning yet. We're kind of learning as we go. What we've understanding so far is stone fruits especially. You have to kind of create like a vase shape with an open center. So we have these branches coming out from the center, and there's actually nothing in the middle here. So it allows sunlight in and really good airflow. So we planted these last spring, and we actually did get fruit on actually all the trees except for the plum tree. We really should have taken all the fruit off to allow, all the energy to go into the root system. We were way too excited, so we did let them kind of grow up a little bit. The peach tree, we actually got 2 peaches off, and honestly, they were probably the best peaches we've ever had. And it was just awesome that we grew them in our backyard. So these are our pear trees. Last year we did get a bunch of fruit off both pear trees. We got 2 pears that were amazing. The rest didn't ripen. So I'm just assuming the tree was too immature and it just didn't have enough energy to go into ripening the fruit, but we'll see how this year goes. If anyone has any info on pruning pear trees, you can throw it in the comments below, because we definitely need to learn a bit more about, you know, kind of keeping our orchard under wraps and pruned really well. This year we are hoping to expand our orchard. I would really like some Honeycrisp apples in here, because anyone who lives in Central Ontario knows how expensive Honeycrisp apples are, and they are so sweet. At our last house we had a massive apple tree, and when our son was like 2 years old, he would just kind of meander through the yard, grab an apple, take a bite, throw it down. It was just an awesome thing just to have fruit just laying around that he could help himself with. Japanese beetles last year were just horrendous. So we tried insecticidal soap, we tried a shop vac, we tried blowing them off with just like a pressure washer. What we did find is we set up Japanese beetle traps. They're a bag about this big, and they were half full of Japanese beetles after like just a few days. So it's insane how much they catch. The nice thing for us is when we do catch them, we dump them into a bucket of water and we give them to our chickens, so they won't reproduce, and it's just some nice snacks for the chickens.
So I am in our asparagus patch, which doesn't look like much.
Where are the asparagus?
Because we only planted it last year, and pretty much 75% of our asparagus crowns rotted in the ground. We replanted everything into this new patch. We're gonna see what comes up this year.
I didn't really think about it when we built these beds last year, but after a long winter, the soil had settled quite a bit. So Mike had the not so glamorous job of topping them all up with compost. We also made a few small garden beds just for the kids this year. We love giving them a space that's like completely theirs to experiment with. To be fair, these gardens usually get neglected. They rarely get weeded and somehow only produce maybe one slightly impressive vegetable all season. But that's besides the point. The goal isn't perfection, it's letting them dig in, get messy, and feel like they're a part of everything that we're doing out here. And while the kids are busy with their own projects, the rest of the garden prep still has to happen. We get our onions planted nice and early each year because they're one of those jobs that's easy to put off. If you've ever planted multiple rows of onions, you know they absolutely destroy your back. Fast forward a bit and they're already filling out nicely. One of my favorite things about this time of year is getting back into our outdoor routines again. The hens are happier, they're laying more eggs with the longer days, and it finally feels like we're settling back into our life outside. Right now, our toddlers are absolutely thrilled to collect eggs every day, which is a nice change because my older boys have officially reached the stage where almost everything feels like a chore. So I'll gladly accept the help from tiny helpers when they're still excited about it. Somehow our days become a rotation of watering plants, pulling weeds, checking on chicks, collecting eggs, and trying to remember what we were doing in the first place. And honestly, those are the days that we end up enjoying the most.
So this is gonna be our kind of like bee garden area. Kelly got bees for her birthday and they arrive in a few weeks. So wildflowers all through here, a bunch of lavender. And then in front of that, we're just gonna do like a mulched area with the beehives in there. I don't know, we like making things look pretty, so that's what we're gonna do.
This little garden will be a nice backdrop for our beehives. It'll give the pollinators somewhere to forage and become another little corner of the property that we can slowly build over the years. Some of our favorite projects out here are ones that we didn't have finished all at once.
So right now I'm just mulching all of the tomato plants with the leaf mulch that Mike made last fall. So we collected all of the leaves that had fallen in the fall with our leaf mulcher. And this is our first year actually using it, which is really great. It's free. Last year we used straw mulch in the garden and it just sprouted tons of seeds, and I felt like it worked for the weeds, but also it grew a bunch with the seeds that were left in the straw, so that was kind of frustrating. But we're gonna try this. I've seen so many other people on YouTube like use leaf mulch and for their gardens, and it seems to work out really well. So I'm excited to see how it goes, especially because it can just be turned right back into the soil after we're done. Ooh, not with that one. Yes, so that's a good one. I'm just watering everything in now so that all of the leaves don't blow away, and this was all for nothing.
So we're back here in our back overflow garden. So this one's about 50 by 100. We've had a silage tarp on it for about 5 weeks now to try to kill off the weeds. And we had a cover crop of rye back here that we were getting rid of. So we're finally ready to plant. Filled 4 rows here, almost wrapping up planting. We have 1 more row left. So Kelly ordered 20 pounds of Kennebec, 5 russet, 10 Yukon Gold, and another 5 of russet. Planted a row of Kennebec so far. We have a row of Yukon Gold. These are all russets. These are russets, and then that final row there is all gonna be Kennebec as well. It's a little bit later than we would have liked. Everything has really started sprouting a lot, you can see. Created mounds about 12 inches high. We've dug the seeds down about 4 to 6 inches, spaced them 8 to 12 inches with all the growth facing upwards. And then we will cover this up, and then we'll grab our leaf mulch and mulch everything to try to help control the weeds.
It's easy to forget what all of this looked like just a few months ago. Every spring starts out muddy, messy, and a little overwhelming. Then there comes a point where you think to yourself, is my entire property going to stay brown and depressing forever? But somehow every year it all comes back to life. We still have bees to care for, a garden to grow, and lots more projects ahead. So it'll be fun to see what the next few months have in store.